Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my great short stories series, we're working on a classic, The Destructors by Graham Greene. We began the short story last week, so we're going to just review the very beginning, and we're going to see how far we can get with part 2, and that should give you everything you need to get started with the story, and I'll probably have you read the rest on your own before the final class. We'll see how far we get and see how we do as a review. Okay, hopefully all of you had an easier time getting into the Hangout than I did. I had a problem, but it seems to be working. So let's see what we're doing here. Oh, I didn't do my introduction. Never mind, I'm not going to do it. Let me just open the notes and share my screen with you. Hang on just a second here. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. What about, first of all, let's say a welcome back to Daniel. Long time no see, Daniel.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo. Nueve.
Yeah. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Nuevo, not nueve. I can't speak Spanish.
Mhm.
Let me see. And Sylvia and Daniel, did you have any trouble entering the Hangout? Or was it pretty easy?
No problem.
No problem.
Okay. Because for me,
But
it was different. What?
it didn't appear in the. I had to enter from my email
You had to
because
enter from your email.
yes, the message when you uh, when you book a class,
Right?
Berlin send you a
A
message,
reminder? A reminder?
a reminder. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
because from the Berlin, I didn't, I couldn't enter.
There was no enter button, start join button.
No, the class,
Yeah,
the classes.
that's what happened to me too. There was no join button, and then magically the Hangout just appeared, which was really strange, but I got in, so I guess it worked. What about you, Sylvia? Was there a join button?
There isn't the join button, but also yesterday. So I need to book before the lesson and then it say, okay, you can join the class.
And you joined through the email?
No.
How did you join today? How did you enter the classroom?
After, okay, I booked the lesson
Right,
immediately now, 2 minutes
right.
ago. And then it's like, okay, now you can join the class.
Oh,
For
but
the...
but I mean, how did you join? Did you have to click on a button?
Yes, of course. But it's before I need to book, and usually I don't book anything. I
Right,
only
right.
join the class. Not from there. There is in the screen above the black in the middle. Yeah, but it's fine. It was okay.
Okay. For me, yeah, there was no join button, which is very strange. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, maybe I'll talk to Verbling later. I'm just worried that no one else can join because they don't know how to join. So something
And
seems to be new.
I saw that there were only 3 other seats available.
Yeah, there should be 6 people signed up and only 2 people in the classroom. So 7 people signed up. So I don't know. I hope there's no. Anyway, what can we do? I didn't get a message from Verbling, so I assume everything is okay. Okay, anyway, let's not worry about it. Let's see. Mohsen, are you there? Let's see if Mohsen is okay. Hello, Mohsen?
Hello, teacher.
Teacher? Oh, you mean me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did you have any trouble getting in? Did you have a join button? or did you have to join in it through the email?
No, always I enter the Verbling site and check which teacher have class now, and then click on join class button.
And today, was there
Today
something
is
different, or
no,
was it
no,
the
no, no, no. I did the same as the other day.
Okay, well, maybe I'm the only one who's different. I had no join button. I don't know. All right. So listen, last week, before New Year's, we started to read this story, a classic story. I'm not sure if the three of you were in the class. I don't think you were there, Daniel. I don't remember seeing you. Am I wrong? I don't think you were there. Uh, so let's make sure that we're on the same page here. Um, did you have a chance to read part one of the story, Daniel, Mosin, or Sylvia?
No,
Yes, we read together the last week.
You were in the class, okay. And Daniel, did you have a chance to read part one?
no, it's my first class
First
this
class.
year.
Okay. And Mosin, did you have a chance to read the beginning of this story? Because we did this last Tuesday. Just the
Yes, I
beginning.
did. I think because I think the story was about some boys. Yes.
Well, yeah. Could you tell me a
Yes.
little
Okay.
more?
To establish a gang. To establish a gang.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the right track. So Daniel, let's summarize. There's four parts of the story. You can read part one later, but let's summarize what you missed. And we're going to probably read the very end of part one too, together. So, Mosin is saying it's about a gang of boys trying to establish a uh, I think at the end we saw that they're trying to establish kind of a new leader. Sylvia, what do you remember besides that about the gang? Maybe you could tell us where the story takes place, when the story takes place, or something like that. Another detail that you remember from part one.
Okay, it took place after the first Blitz in London
Hmm.
in the
So
UK,
what
because
year
there
do you think we're
was
talking
a lot
about?
of British force.
What year do you think we're talking?
1940,
Okay, around 1940.
1940.
Yeah, maybe even later. It depends
Yeah,
because I don't know if the war is over or if it's still wartime yet. I don't remember, but okay. In the 1940s.
finished in 45.
Yeah.
90, yeah, after 1945. And there was a child, really quiet,
Mm-hmm.
who that his father was before an architect, and now and then a priest, and
You can say it now. We're talking about the story, so when we read the story, we can talk about it in the present. So his father was an architect, and now
was better than all the other neighbors. Was not rich, but a wealthy family.
okay. Do you remember
And
the name of the character? Which character?
no, where
I'll
is
give you a hint. It begins with a T
Trevor?
or T. He called himself T.
and so the child and his family usually speak with a really polite, not slang, without slang, so in a really polite way.
Okay, polite,
And
or maybe instead of not just polite, but maybe formal, upper class, that kind of thing. Not just polite, but formal, upper class. They sound like they're in a different social class than everyone else.
And this child really hated this because he wanted to be part of a gang. And in the gang, the other members speak with slang, really bad words, and
Okay,
there
good. I agree. Yeah. Let me just add one thing. So for Jonathan and Mulan, who are just joining us now, we're just reviewing the part one of the story we began last Tuesday, The Destructors by Graham Greene. And as Sylvia mentioned, the main character is Trevor. I want to add one thing to what Sylvia said. Trevor doesn't call himself Trevor because that name associates him with his upper class family. They're not upper class anymore because of the war. Now they're quite poor, but they were. His father was a rich architect. So it seems that he got rid of his name and just calls himself T to be cool and hang out with the gang, right? And this is during the war, after the first Blitz. Parts of London have been completely destroyed, and the children are sort of running around doing creative things and organizing themselves, and the adults seem to be a bit lost. Okay, Jonathan and Mulan, you were not in the class last Tuesday, right? This is World War II, Mulan. World War II, actually. And Jonathan, you were not in the class, right? This is your first time in this class?
Hello, my name is Marlene. I use my son account. Sorry. Yes, my
Marlene.
first time in this class. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just reviewing the very beginning of the story. This is Graham Greene. He's a modernist writer. In other words, he's a kind of experimental, like all the 20th century writers, but he's more accessible, maybe. A little easier to read. He's very classic in the way he approaches, even when he's being experimental, he's still very classic. So it doesn't get more classic than Graham Greene. It shouldn't be that hard to follow the narrative, even though it's not written for English language learners. It shouldn't be that hard. There will be some difficult vocabulary. Okay? We'll try to make it easier. So one thing we can do is summarize the plot, the action of the story, the characters, and occasionally we can ask a few comprehension questions to make sure that you're following the main details of the story. And you'll notice that I'll put comments on the right side. You can do the same, and I'll add links to difficult words, and you can do the same. So I added a link to impromptu, for example, here. All I did was double-click, go to research, and I can add a dictionary link to a word by doing that. Okay, and I'll add comprehension questions as well on the right. Same way, right-click and then comment. You can add your own questions as well, or comments on the right side as we read. Okay, so Sylvia, I think you did a great job talking about Trevor, the main character. And Molson, you were here in the last class. Were there any other characters that you recall? Before we start reading, let's just clarify there was at least one more character that we know a bit about.
Yes. There is an adult person, an adult man who was an isolated person, and I remember that he was a member of this gang, I think, or
no, because he's an adult, right? So he's not a kid. He can't be part of the gang.
yes.
But the gang is interested in his house.
Yes. Okay.
Do you remember why they were interested? And do you remember who was interested the most? The adult was, I forgot the name now. I'll have to look at it again. Oh, it's the guy, Old Misery, right? They called him Old Misery, whatever his real name is. Do you remember that more or less, you or Sylvia?
Thompson, I think Thompson.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I think that's it. What's the name of the gang? Anyone remember from
Mm,
last week? It's the name of the place where they live. Take a look on the first line. Wormsley Common. So it's the name of the place where they live, the Wormsley Common Gang. So the common is like, it's like square, piazza, praça in Portuguese. Well, I forgot how to say it in Spanish. You know what I mean. Town square. Um, Sylvia, can you add something about the old miser? Why are they interested in his house? Do you remember?
It's a really big house built from Juan, that was the architect of St. Paul's Cathedral, I think. No, because St. Paul's Cathedral was built before. And it was a really big house, and the T suggests to enter inside this house, and the other members of the gang thought that he wanted to pitch something.
He wants to pinch. Pinch, right.
Something. And
Pinch means to. Sorry, pinch means to. To?
Stolen.
To what?
Stole.
To?
Stole.
No. To. Stole is the past. To.
Steal.
Steal, right. He wants to pinch something, to steal something.
And
actually, what does he really want?
He wants to burn the whole house.
Yeah, he wants to destroy the house. Maybe not burn it, but destroy it from the inside out. And
with this action, he became like the boss of this gang.
There you go. He shows that he has some kind of courage that the current boss doesn't have. Well, not really boss because they're kids, but leader. Yeah, that's the idea. Okay. Okay, any questions? That's where we stopped. That's right. Okay, so that's a pretty good summary. Daniel, does that make some sense? Or are you still, I know not every detail will be clear, but do you get the general idea?
yes, a general idea. I got it.
All right. So let's continue reading. We're going to pick up at the very end of part 1. After this dialogue, we're going to pick up right here. After this dialogue, this is where Sylvia was saying T, or Trevor, the rich kid, he starts to emerge as a kind of a leader because he has this crazy idea of destroying the old man's house. And the old man is so affected by the war, he just lets his house kind of fall down anyway. They just want to finish the job. Anyway, so let's pick up there. Daniel, why don't you take the first paragraph for us? To the bottom of the page.
Okay. Mike laughed suddenly and then was quiet again. The meeting was in a serious mood. For the first time since T had strolled into the car park on the first day of the holidays, his position was in danger. It only needed a single use of his real name, and the gang could be at his heels. What did you do it for? Black asked. He had no jealous. He was anxious to retain T. In the gang if they could. It was the word beautiful that worried him.
So, sorry, just here, I started a little bit too early. This is right before he explains his idea about destroying the house, okay? So I started a little bit too early, but this is when he describes something beautiful, and they all got worried that he was a softie, like he wanted to go in and look at a beautiful painting or something. They don't know what he really wants yet. Sorry, keep going.
That belonged to a class war that you could still see parodied at the Wormsley Common Empire by a man wearing a top hat and a monocle, with a how accent. He was tempted to say, My dear Trevor, old chap, and unleashed his hellhounds. If you'd broken in, he said sadly, that indeed would have been an exploit worthy of the gang. It was better, T said. I found out things. He continued to stare at his feet, not meeting anybody's eye, as though he were absorbed in some dream he was unwilling or ashamed to share.
Ashamed to share.
Ashamed to share.
Okay, so we got Blackie. Is Blackie a member of the gang? Is
Uh,
Blackie a member of the gang?
Black,
This guy
black,
here.
yeah, I think.
Yeah. So we've got Blackie and Trevor. Does Blackie want Trevor to leave the gang or stay in the gang? From what you read.
Could you repeat the question?
Does Blackie want Trevor, T, does Blackie want T to leave the gang or to stay in the gang?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, here, what did you do it for? He means go inside the house. What did you go into the old man's house for? He had no jealousy. He was anxious to retain T in the gang. So, if he was anxious to retain T, did he want T to stay or to leave?
To leave.
Retain.
To retain. Yeah.
To retain, is that to stay or leave?
Okay. To retain. Yeah.
So to stay or to leave?
To retain. To stay.
To stay, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
So Blackie isn't questioning him because he thinks he's a softie. He's scared that this new guy that he likes is going to not meet with approval by everyone else. He's not jealous of the guy. He wants him to be the strong, mysterious kid that they met in the parking lot before. Just make sure it's clear. And the ha-ha accent is the ha-ha, my dear Trevor, old chap.
English, no?
Yeah, the upper class accent. He's worried that this guy is letting his roots show through, and he can just imagine, oh, my dear Trevor, boy, did you have fun at the house? Oh, if only you'd broke in, you'd see some beautiful things. He's worried that that guy is going to be what he has to deal with, and then he's going to be rejected. Okay, let's go on to the dialogue. What things? The old miser's going to be away all tomorrow and bank holiday, Blackie said with relief. Ah, you mean we could break in and pinch things? Someone asked. Blackie said, nobody's going to pinch things. Breaking in, that's good enough, isn't it? We don't want any court stuff. I don't want to pinch anything, T said. I've got better ideas. What is it? T, well, let me fix the formatting here. T, raise his eyes. I'm sorry, let me turn that over to you. Let's see. Sylvia, why don't you continue there? Let's find out what happens.
Yes. T raised his eyes, as grey and disturbed as the drab August day. We'll put it down, he said. We'll destroy it. Blackie gave a single hoot of laughter, and then, like Mike, fell quiet, daunted by the serious, implacable gaze. What's the police be doing all the time? He said. They'd never know. We'll do it from inside. We have found a way in, he said, with a sort of intensity. We'd be like worms, don't you see, in apple. When we came out again there will be nothing there. No staircase, no panels, nothing but just walls. And then we'd make the walls fall down, somehow. We'd go to Jug, Black said. Who's the proof? And anyway, he wouldn't have pinched anything. He had, without the smallest flicker of glee, There wouldn't be anything to pinch after we'd finish. Always?
So going to jug. This, I don't know what this means, but I can guess it's a bad place. Where do you think the jug is?
Prison?
I think so too. If I click on the research link, it doesn't give me that definition, but I think so. Because later he says, in the next line, he talks about going to prison. So I think this is slang, World War II slang for prison. World War II slang. I'm going to put that note over there, slang for prison. Okay? Well, keep going to the end of the dialogue, Sylvia.
He had without the smallest flicker of glee. There wouldn't be anything to pinch after we'd finish. I've never heard of going to prison for breaking things, Summers said. There wouldn't be time, Blackie said. We have seen housebreakers at work. There are 12 of us, he said. We'd organize. No one of us know how. I know, he said. He looked across at Blackie. Have you got a better plan? Today, Mike said tactlessly, we are pinching free rides. Free rides, he said. You can stand down, Blackie, if you'd rather. The gang's got to vote. Put it up then. Blackie said uneasily. It's proposed that tomorrow and Monday we destroy Old Misery House. Here, here, said a fat boy called Joe. Who is in favor? He said. It's carried. Who do we start? Summer asked. He'll tell you, Blackie said.
So Blackie has already appointed T the leader. He'll tell you. In other words, he's got the plan, it sounds like. Okay, so we got another character there. We got this conflict between T and the leader. We've got Blackie. Now we've got a fat boy called Joe. And I forgot the name of the leader. Just one quick question. Big vocabulary word. Two big vocabulary words. At the very top, daunted and implacable. I'll put links there to both of them. Okay? If you feel daunted by something, do you think it's possible to do, or do you think it's impossible to do?
Impossible.
I agree. Daunted is like you feel it's impossible. It's too difficult. Placable is a difficult word, and it's not something that a native speaker would necessarily use. It's quite an advanced word. So let's take a quick look at the definition. Opposed to someone or something in a very angry, determined way. Placable. Or in I guess you could say implacable, implacable. I guess it could be both. I can't click on the pronunciation, but can I? It won't let me. I guess you could say it either way. I've heard it both ways. So, not capable of being appeased, significantly changed, mitigated. He has an implacable hatred. So it's like something that, I don't know, what do you think, Sylvia? The serious, implacable gaze. You know what a gaze is?
No.
Gaze. Sometimes we talk about gaze in one particular art, the art of cinema, the gaze of the viewer. Class, what do you think gaze is?
Directly looking in one position, staring.
To stare, to gaze. So if his gaze is implacable or implacable, what do you think? What kind of stare was it? Happy stare?
No, it's really fixed gaze.
Mm-hmm. Fixed and nothing can stop it.
Intimate. Not intimate, but intrepid.
Intrepid. Oh, that's a big word defining another big word. I don't know if maybe that's too fancy. What do you mean by intrepid?
It's like it's supposed to instill fear in the other person.
Ah, okay, to intimidate.
Yeah, yeah, intimidate.
Ah, okay, got you. Let's see if Google intrepid, fearless, adventurous for intrepid. Sometimes you can put the sound here, sometimes you can't. Anyway, your definition is good. I like it. To cause fear, to intimidate. So the gay is intimidated. He's talking about Mike. So I think Mike was the former leader, and T is kind of taking over. If I got the picture here, something like that. Okay. Well, let's go right down the list. So Mosen, you're next up. Take this one for us.
Okay. It was the end of his leadership. He went away to the back of the car park and began to kick a stone, dribbling
Kick a
it,
stone. Kick a stone.
kick a stone, dribbling it this way and that. There was only one old misery in the park, for few cars were left there except lorries. Without an attendant, there was no safety. He took a flying kick at the car and scraped a
Scraped.
little script, a
Scraped.
li- a
Like
scrape.
scraped is just like scratch. Scraped a little paint. Scratch some paint.
Yes, scraped a little paint off the rear mudguard. Behind paying no more attention to him than to a stranger, the gang had gathered round T. Blackie was dimly aware of fickleness,
Fickle,
of favor.
fickleness.
Fickleness of favor. He thought of going home, of never returning, of letting them all discover the hollowness of T's leadership. But suppose after all what T proposed was possible, nothing like it had ever been done before. The fame of Wormsey Common Car Park Gang would surely reach around London. There would be headlines in the papers. Even the grown-up gangs who ran the betting at the All-In and the Barrowboy
Wrestling.
wrest-
Wrestling. Yeah.
wrestling and the Barrow Boys would hear with respect of how old Misery's house had been destroyed, driven by the pure, simple and altruistic ambition of fame for the gang. Blackie come back to where T stood in the shadow of Misery's wall. T was giving his order with decision. It was as though this plan had been with him all his life. Con-
It was as though.
as though
Good.
It was as though this plan had been with him all his life, pondered through the season, now in his 15th year, crystallized with the pain of poverty.
No, 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 no. Try again. Pain of
Pub,
not pop.
puberty,
Puberty.
puberty.
Yeah, his voice just changed. Puberty. He's 15. Actually, it's
Puberty.
a little late for puberty, but whatever.
Yes, he said to Mike, bring some big nails, the biggest you can find, and a hammer. Anyone else who can better bring a hammer and a screwdriver? We'll need plenty of them. Chisels too.
Chisels. Chisels.
Chisels too.
What is T asking the group to bring? What are those things in general? Hammer, screwdriver, chisel. What are those things? What do we call those things together?
We find it in the toolbox.
Tools. Yeah, like a tool. Like a little toolbox with a hammer, chisel. And why do you think he wants them to bring tools? How is that based on the plan? What does he want them to do? What do you think? Class. Why would he ask him to bring those tools?
Try to open the door.
To try to open the door? Okay. And what else? What happens when they get inside?
I don't know. A box, a metal box with money inside.
No.
Or jealous. I don't know.
No. He doesn't want. They don't want money.
Okay.
Remember, it's called the Destructors. The what? Say again?
Paintings.
No, they don't want paintings.
Furniture.
No, they don't want furniture. Class, what do they really want? Do they want things? Are they looking to steal things? Do
they want to destroy the home, I guess, or the wall.
They want
with the toolbox, with the hammers and the screwdriver drive.
That's it. They want the pure creative act of destruction. They don't want they don't want things. That's for the small time. They want fame, and fame comes from doing something outrageous. So the hammer.
Then a big hammer.
Yeah, they're little kids. They better have big hammers. We'll find out if this works.
Maybe some gas and fire.
I don't know. Let's find out. I don't know how. I've never read the end of the story. I don't know how it ends. We'll find out soon. But let's see if they succeed. Well, it sounds like they're not going to burn it down, though. Let me do the dialogue. Just listen to the dialogue here, and then we're going to go on to part 2. Last bit of dialogue. We can't have too many chisels. Can anyone bring a saw? I can, said Mike. Not a child's saw, T said. A real saw. Blackie realized, let me fix it, formatting here. Blackie realized he had raised his hand like an ordinary member of the gang. Like he's in school or something, right? Right, you bring one, Blackie. Now there's a difficulty. We want a hacksaw. What's a hacksaw? Someone said. You can get them at Woolworth's, Summers said. The fat boy called Joe said gloomily, I knew it would end in a collection. Collection means that they're going to have to pay for something, collect money. I'll get one myself, T said. I don't want your money, but I can't buy a sledgehammer. Blackie said, they're working on number 15. I know where they'll leave their stuff for the bank holiday. Then that's all, T said. We meet here at 9 sharp. I've got to go to church, Mike said. Come over the wall and whistle and we'll let you in. And that is the plan being hatched. Let's find out what happens, shall we? Mulan, you take the next part, and then we'll turn it over to Marlene after. Mulan, take the next part. First paragraph of part 2.
Okay. On Sunday morning, all were punctual except Blackie. Even Mike. Mike had had a stroke of luck. His mother felt ill. His father was tired after Saturday night, and he was told to go to church alone with many warning of what would happen if he stayed. If he strayed. Blackie had difficulty in smuggling out the soap, and then in finding the sledgehammer at the back of number 15. He approached the house from a lane at the rear of the garden. for fear of the policeman's beat along the main road. The tired evergreens kept off a stormy sun. Another wet bank holiday was being prepared over the Atlantic, beginning in swirls of dust. Under the trees, Blackie climbed the wall into Misery's garden. There
Okay.
was
Sorry,
uh,
just a question. Beat.
okay.
Let's see if I can find. Okay, here we go. Walk beat. I can't. I don't know if I can. Maybe I can. Yeah. Okay, I got a link to it. So the policeman, he's afraid of. Oh, did I get a link to it? Yes, I did. He's a fear of the policeman's beat along the main road. Does that mean that the policeman is going to beat him up?
I think he's
What's
afraid of of them being on the main road, and he meant by using the word beat their foot beats on the ground, maybe something like that.
something like that? Actually, the beat is the path that the policemen patrol. Walk the beat, for example, to patrol on the job like a guard or an officer. So a beat is the normal path that you take. Your duty is to do that beat. Your beat is Broadway. That means you have to walk up and down Broadway and do your watch. Okay, if you're a security guard, your beat is at the front door of the nightclub. For example, if you're a bouncer or security. So beat is a good word. Just going to add that there. Okay, Blackie is the guy who supported T. Mike, what did we find out about Mike in the last paragraph? Not in this paragraph you read, but just one paragraph before. What did we find out about Mike? He used to be the leader. What happened to him after T's idea? Do you remember?
No, I'm not sure actually.
Anyone? Class? What happened to Mike after T explained the idea to the group? Remember what he did?
He's jealous
Yeah, he was jealous a bit.
about yes.
Yeah,
He
and
likes the idea.
he does like the idea. He thought about quitting. He goes to the parking lot. He kicks a car, and he thinks about quitting, but he decides that it's just too great an idea, I guess. That's
Yeah.
in the last paragraph. Mulan, you
Yeah.
read this paragraph. What was the luck? What was his stroke of luck? Do you remember? What actually happened to him that made this day a little special?
He was told to go to the church alone because his mother felt ill and his father was tired after a Saturday night, so he can pretend that he is going to go to the church while he would go with the gang.
Exactly. So he's got the perfect excuse to go with the gang and destroy the house. Okay, there you go. That's it. It's Marlene, isn't it? It's not Jonathan, it's Marlene?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Take the next one for us, Marlene.
Okay.
See where we are?
Yeah. There was no sign of anybody anywhere. They loose talk like a tomb. And neglected grabbed jar. The curtains were the drawn. The house sleep Blakey
Lumbered.
lumber nearest with the saw. Okay, with the saw and the sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer is like a big hammer. Big, heavy hammer. Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer. Perhaps after all, nobody had turned up. The plan had been wild inventions. They had woken with risers, but when he came close to the back door, he could hear a confusion of sounds. Hardly,
Hardly.
hardly louder than high in some.
In a hive, in a swarm. Swarm. A swarm
Can
is
a
a
high?
group of bees. A swarm of bees. Hive is like it's like the house that the bees create with the honeycombs inside. So is okay. See if I can give you a definition
Okay.
too.
Okay. And some and clicky clack, back and back and back. A scraping, a creeping, sudden painful crack. His throat is true and whitelet.
And whistled. Don't forget the S. Whistled. Whistled. Marlene?
Yeah.
Whistled.
What's up? What's up?
Whistled. Can you whistle for me, Marlene? Do you know how to whistle? There you go.
Whistle.
How do you say
Yeah,
whistle? How do you say whistle in Spanish?
Chiflar.
Silbar.
Silbar?
Yeah,
Silbar.
Chiflar or silbar. Or
Okay.
chiflar.
There you go. Okay, that's what whistle is. So there's a lot of difficult vocabulary there. Okay, let's see if we can just make sense of what actually happened. They arrived to the house. Was there anyone in the house?
Maybe sleeping.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think it was not anyone in the house.
No sign of anyone, so probably no one in the house, right? What about the
Nobody.
What about the other gang members, right? Because Mike had this stroke of luck. He's able to go without having to go to church. But when he arrives, right, there's no sign of anyone. The loo, you know what the loo is in British English?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
What's the loo, Molson? Mulan, sorry. What's the loo?
It's the same as the bathroom.
The bathroom. So the bathroom stood like a tomb in a graveyard because the bathroom was outdoors. The plumbing in the house either didn't exist or it was broken because of the war. So he'd use the bathroom outdoors. The loo stood like a tomb in the neglected graveyard. The curtains were drawn. The house slept. The house slept. There's no one there. And then Blackie lumbered nearer. Well, lumbered because it's like the way you walk. Walk like a lumber, like you're carrying heavy logs. So you're lumbering. Probably he's very tired. So he lumbered near and saw the sledgehammer. If he saw a sledgehammer, that's a sign that someone is in the house. Who do you think is in the house if he sees the sledgehammer there, class?
Mike.
Why Mike?
The gang.
T. Sorry.
What?
T.
Yeah, okay, T. Maybe T.
I think
Why
other
T?
gang member.
And why? Why is that a sign? It doesn't even matter who it is. Why is the sledgehammer a sign that there's a gang member in the house? Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Why is that a sign? Perché? Why?
Why? Because T asked for tools.
Yeah, because T asked for tools, exactly. Okay, so Marlene, this paragraph is all about what it's like, what it was like when they showed up to the house. That moment of doubt, that moment when they're not sure if they're going to go through with it. But before Blackie has a chance to leave, he sees the sledgehammer and he knows, they're here. This plan is really going to happen. So it gives you a little clue about how that moment of doubt, I think. That's what it means to me. I think we're back to Daniel for the next one. Take it away, Daniel.
Okay. They opened the back door to him, and he came in. He had at once the impression of organization, very different from the old happy-go-lucky ways under his leadership. For a while he wandered up and down stairs looking for tea. Nobody addressed him. He had a sense of great urgency, and already he could begin to see the plan. The interior of the house was being carefully demolished, without touching the outer walls. Summers with hammer and chisel was ripping out the skirting bars in the ground floor dining room. He had already smashed the panels of the door. In the same room Joe was hewing up the parquet blocks, exposing the soft wood floor
Floorboards.
floorboards over the cellar. Coils of wire came out of the damaged skirting, and Mike sat happily on the floor, clipping the wires.
So they're having a good time.
Yeah,
They already got to work.
yeah.
Let's see.
They are
Uh,
they are very busy.
they're busy already at work. Um, we just have 2 minutes. Maybe we can read just one more paragraph. So Sylvia, why don't you take this will be like the last part we can do in this class.
Okay. On the curved stairs, two of the gangs were working hard with an inadequate child saw on their banisters. When they saw Blackie's big saw, they signaled for it wordlessly. When he next saw them, a quarter of the banisters had been dropped into the hole. He found tea at last in the bathroom. He sat moodily in the least cared-for room in the house, listening to the sounds coming up from the below. "You have really done it," Blackie said with Abe. "What's going—"
With oh, no, wait, slow down. You've done it with awe, as Blackie said,
Oh,
with awe.
oh,
Not all as in
what's it?
ALL, but all as in awesome. A feeling of awe.
Oh, a feeling with oh.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what's the meaning.
Like awesome.
What's okay. With oh, what's going to happen? "We have only just begun," T said. He looked at the sledgehammer and gave his instructions. "You stay here and break the bath and the wash basin. Don't bother about the pipes. They come later."
Uh, okay, keep going. Sorry, that's last part here.
Mike appeared at the door. "I have finished the wire," he said. "Good. We have just got to the wandering room now. The kitchen's in the basement. Smash all the china and glass and bottles you can lay hold of. Don't turn on the taps. We don't want a flood yet. Then go into all the rooms and turn out drawers. If they are locked, get one of the others to break them open. Tear up and papers. You find and smash all the ornaments. Better take a carving knife with you from the kitchen. The bedroom's opposite here. Open the pillows and tear up the sheets. That's enough for the moment. And you, Blackie, when you have finished in here, crack the plaster in the passage up with your sledgehammer."
And Blackie says, "What are you going to do?" "I'm looking for something special," T said. Okay, we've actually got to stop there. Let me ask you, well, we've got to stop. I have to start the next class. I think we should read one more section of this on Thursday. So maybe we should read one more time together. If that's okay, we'll do that. Because I'm not sure if we've gotten far enough that you can read the rest on your own without it being too difficult. Okay? But you can give me your opinion. I would say we're gonna read the rest of 2 and part of 3 on Thursday, and then we'll have one final class where you'll read the rest over the weekend, and we'll discuss it in the next class. Okay, so we'll continue reading on Thursday at the same hour, and let's stop there for now. Let's find out what the special thing is that T has in store for us. I'll be back in 30 seconds to start the business class. Stick around for that. We're learning our business skills for talking about future plans in our activity, our unit on change. That's what it is, change in business. Okay? Stick around for that in just a minute, and we'll continue this class Thursday at 9 GMT. Bye for now, everyone. See you in a few minutes.